I thought I'd do a little clicker tip and test out some of my new gadgets. Good. My microphone, so I can talk through my training, which is going to be really exciting, and a new tripod that my phone is sitting on. Good. Now I've got to train myself to keep talking instead of pausing when I turn away from the camera, so that's going to be a challenge for me. And the first thing I wanted to demonstrate is good. Being ambidextrous in your training. I've got a clicker, I've got a target stick, I've got my food pouch. I have sort of rules that I suggest people start with, but it depends what you're doing. Good. So ideally I would say to people, food pouch on the opposite side to your horse. Oh, there goes my target stick. And good form for you and your horse is to, good. He's going to look for the bucket and I'm going to hand feed in his space. Preloading, which isn't always a bad thing to do either. Good. I'm just going to give him a handful in his bucket while I get my brain coordinated. So ideally that's the situation where the food pouch is on the opposite side of the horse. You feed across in his space and come back. I'm going to give him another handful there before he starts offering some behaviour. But if we were going to do some nose targeting, I'm going to have to do this. Good. And feed with the other hand. Imagine I fed him in his mouth. Bit of a muscle memory there, feeding into the bucket. Good. Hand feeding with this hand. It's pretty hard to... You can swap the target stick, I guess. I could try that next time. Good. Swap hands and then hand feed like this. Oh, that's pretty fiddly. Because then if you add the clicker, you're being so patient, Flash. I'll give you a handful in the bucket. I have target stick and clicker. I guess I could swap, go for food and hand feed, but that's a lot. And I'll feed in the bucket just to help him out. Same on the other side. It's good form to have the pouch on the opposite side, but sometimes that's not always necessary, and that's where it's really important to feed them in their space. The bucket's doing the same job as feeding him over here, not next to my food pouch. Well, you're being so good, Flash. If you have trouble changing sides during a session, this is something I recommend. I kind of just did it, never really thought that people would think, oh, never thought of that. Generally when you're starting out, I recommend doing each session on one side. Once your horse is used to that, what you can do is feed them from one side to the other, which I'll show you next time Flash's head pops up. So you can walk your way around as you're feeding. Good boy. And he didn't move at all. So you're still reinforcing standing still, facing forward, doing nothing. My pouch is on the other side. But you see, as a demonstration, this is really awkward. A little bit out of camera here. Whereas if I change sides, good. That's much easier to do. I'm going to swap back because a little bit awkward. I'm a little bit out of camera angle. I don't know if you can hear Mercedes nickering in the background. She's behind the camera. Good. So there are sort of rules when you get started to make things easy for people, but sometimes you have to change it around. But if you're really consistent about feeding your horse here, good boy, your mouth's so frothy. We can play around a little bit with these sort of rules. I think that's probably enough for now.